Okay, class, we're going to go through the answers for Chapter 2, Form A. This is the practice test. And I want you to follow along and then use this as a review if you'd like. I'm going to go through how to do some of these problems, and so you can use this also to help you study for the test. So, number one, the question is about what type of equation it is. Remember, if it has all numbers, it's either a true equation or a false equation. If it has a variable in it, it is called an open sentence. So the answer is C. It's an open sentence. Okay? Number two, this is a question about the properties. You'll need to know the commutative property, the distributive property, and the associative property. This one has addition in it, and it's where the numbers are flipped. Remember when we talked about that? If you flip the numbers, you can reverse the order and still get the same answer. That's the commutative property. Remember, the associative property is if you move the parentheses. So you're doing one operation first, and then you decide, well, I can do this operation first, and then come back to the other one. That's the associative property. And then the distributive property is where you're distributing a number, like a dealer dealing cards. So this one is G, the commutative property. Number three, which of the following solutions is true? This is a 2-point question because you had to show work. And so your work needs to show 5 times 2 plus 4 is 14. This is a true sentence. 2 is in place of x, and that's what makes it true. So A is the correct answer for that. A. Number 4. This is which is not equal to 2 times x plus 5. Well, if you distribute that 2, you'd get 2x plus 10. Well, so that eliminates the first one. You can move the 2 to the other side of the parentheses, so that eliminates the second one. You can also flip x and 5 because of the commutative property. So the correct answer is J, 2x plus 5. They didn't multiply the 2 times 5, so J is not equal. Number 5. In this one, we're looking for ways that you can do this mentally. So we went through a lot of these together in class. You could switch the order to do 175 plus 25 first. So that's 200 plus 37, I think it is. Yep. And that makes 237. So just by showing this, you're showing the mental process of putting the numbers together to make 100 first, or 100 number first. Number 6, this one's also 2 points. If you show that you can do 50 times 2 first to make 100, and then multiply that times 11, and do that mentally. So that's 1100. And then number 7, we talked about doing estimation. If you think 12 times 100 is 1200, this is 12 times 99, so it's 1 less 12. So if you do 1200 minus one of the 12s, that equals 1188. So 2 points for that. Let's go on to number 8. Number 8. You're combining like terms. Remember, like terms have to look exactly alike. So, you've got 12n's, you've got negative 3k, plus 2n's minus 5k. Now, right away, you should see, oh, I need to put a plus sign in there to make this plus negative 5k, and then we can see, oh, these are like terms, and these two are like terms, so we've got 14n plus negative 8k. 14n plus negative 8k. Number 9. This one, you'd have to first distribute the negative 2. So this has a negative 3y plus 2x, and then outside of here is a negative 2. we have to distribute that negative 2 and multiply that by each of these terms. That gives us negative 2 times negative 3y, that's positive 6y, and then times negative 2 times 2x is negative 4x. That gets rid of all the parentheses. And then you can combine like terms with the other terms. It's plus y plus negative x. Negative x plus negative 4x. That's negative 5x. And 6y's plus another y is positive 7y's. So negative 5x plus 7y. Number 10. This one, you'd have to show your work and add a number to both sides. X plus negative 9 equals 14. That means we have to add the opposite of negative 9 and positive 9 to both sides. So x plus 0 equals 23. That proves x equals 23. Number 11. This one is b plus 14 equals 22. Add negative 14 to both sides. b plus 0 equals 8. That proves b equals 8. Number 12. This one is negative 5z equals negative 45. We'd have to divide both sides by the coefficient. This is a multiplication equation, so we can use division to solve it. Cross out the 5's. That leaves 1z equals positive 9. So z equals 9. That's a z. And number 13. This is m over negative 7. That's m divided by negative 7 equals 14. This is division. The coefficient is 1 over negative 7, so we would multiply by negative 7 over 1. We have to multiply by a negative because the coefficient is negative, and we have to get positive 1m. Negative times negative is positive. Multiply by negative 7 on this side, and we get negative 98. M equals negative 98. Those are 2 points per question. One for showing your work, and one for getting the solution. Number 14. The speed of a human is 7 miles per hour less than that of a jackal. Write and solve an equation. This is 3 points. The speed of the human is 7 miles per hour less than the speed of the jackal. So this, if this is the speed of the human, then that means the speed of the jackal would be more than the speed of the human. So the difference here is 7. That means, according to the chart, again, the human is 28. And the speed of the human is 28. So this is 28. And the speed of the jackal is j. So j minus 7 is 28. Right? J, whoops. J minus 7 is 28. Or 28 plus 7 equals j. And the jackal speed is 35 miles per hour. 15, the number of students, S, in the class is less than 35. So, is less than 35. The students, that means you have to use the less than sign. S is less than 35. Okay. And then to graph it, you need a number line. 35, mark it with an open dot and arrow to the left. Number, you know what, I would also accept S is 30, less than or equal to 34. The reason being that you can't have half of a person. Since we're talking about students, you could have 34 or less. So that's also acceptable. Okay? Number 16. We've got 8 plus y is less than negative 6. We have to get the y by itself. So this is just like solving any other equation, except we have to graph it at the end. Add negative 8 to both sides. Y plus 0 equals negative 14, or sorry, is less than negative 14. So y is less than negative 14. Graph it on that line. Mark 0, mark negative 14. And y is less than. So arrow to the left. Number 17. Negative 5 is greater than k minus 3. Add 3 to both sides. K plus 0 is greater than negative 2. Negative 5 plus 3 is negative 2. So k, negative 2 is greater than k. That makes k less than negative 2. Remember, we can turn the whole thing around so that when we graph it, this is graphing what k is compared to negative 2. Then, number 18, n over 8 is greater than or equal to negative 2. N over 8 is greater than or equal to negative 2. We multiply by the reciprocal of the coefficient. So we multiply by 8 over 1 so we can cross off the 8's. Multiply by 8 on this side. Do we need to switch the sign? No, because this is positive. If we were multiplying by negative 8, then we'd have to switch the sign. This is n is greater than or equal to negative 16. Mark 0, mark negative 16, solid dot, and arrow to the right. N is greater than or equal to 16. Number 19. Negative 4z is greater than or equal to 12. Whoops, negative 12. So, here, negative coefficient, that means we have to divide by a negative and reverse the sign. Divide by a negative 4 on this side, that makes positive 3. So z, 1z, is less than or equal to positive 3. Then, to graph this, we have to mark 3, solid dot, and z is less than 3. Number 20. Central Middle School sold 50 tickets for one night at the school play tickets sold for $2 each, adult tickets sold for $3 each. They took in $135. 35 adult tickets work. So number 20, you should have found that. 35 adult tickets, 35 times 3, plus 15 student tickets, 15 times 2. That combination works to make $135. And then finally, a word problem. This is 1 point. A word problem that can be solved with 12n equals 8. Any word problem where you're multiplying by 12 to get 108 will work for that. 51 points possible on that. 51 points possible. All right.